Good morning, everybody. Another morning walk, another day to be grateful, to be able to breathe, see another day, walk, even be able to talk, go on the camera. Today, just feeling like really good, woke up really good. Not really sure what the message is going to be for the day. I'm not thinking about it, just recording. But a lot of different things have been changing in terms of the thoughts I've been getting. I've always thought of, I see now, like, I was always thinking a lot in fear before of things that, whether this is going to happen, if that's going to happen. But when you begin to remove the focus off of you and put it on God and the source of Him guiding you, like I said before, you get so much pressure taken off you. All this stress and anxiety you have of like things not working out, and you're not fulfilling some kind of goal you set, in the beginning of the year. Everyone has these goals and then they start to panic midway through the year and 3/4 through the year of like, where's my goal? And it creates all this stress and anxiety, and then determined, based off where you're at on that goal, that preset goal, you basically allow that to like affect your state going into the next year. And it's just like this like weird wheel. And I've removed that thanks to my coach, removing that attachment to a goal to let you decide how you feel or don't feel, because that's all the devil's doing, is making you think you can control something external so you can chase a feeling, and that's all you're doing every day of your life. Years pass, decades pass, and you realize that you've let your state fluctuate based off something that's not controllable, based off these timelines you set for yourself and ways that you're living and operating that are essentially you being programmed by lack. You're letting society tell you that you lack something, so you need to go for or chase some kind of goal in order to feel good. And it's literally activating the way you operate, which is completely in lack. And when you begin to realize that everything is already going the way it's supposed to, everything is perfect, everything you have now is because the level you're at is, you deserve to have that. And if you got anything more, you wouldn't be able to take the pressure. There's a component of pressure that many people don't understand, and I realized because of my coach. It's crazy. I'm basically almost repeating his message, but when you're connected, to the source, and you get on that frequency, you get the same message and you resonate with the same things. And for that, there's things right now that your ego tells you to go after, like you need certain things, money, could be body, could be anything external that you think you want to get in whatever amount of time. But your ego tells you to go after it and rush into it and get it now, like the faster you get it, the better. But what you don't realize is there's a pressure that every level holds that if you were to get now, would destroy you. And that is why God, that you don't trust in, is not giving you that level. It usually has to do with money. But right now, if you drive, let's say, a certain car, a Honda Civic, and I gave you a Lamborghini, the pressure you would have, to the fear it would give you, all these things, all these thoughts you would have, you wouldn't be able to even enjoy that car and be in peace in that car. So what is the point of you trying to get something so fast? Get something so fast that you're not ready for. There's reasons why your timing and the timing you think or you deserve, and the things you think you deserve, are not in your hands right now. Is because there's something above you, which is God, that is looking over you and making sure your present reality is not destroying you, and it can grow more and more, week after week, month after month, year after year. He's putting things strategically in your path because he knows if you right now, like I said, are level 1 and you want level 5 would literally destroy your life, because you wouldn't be able to be at peace. And being at peace at the level you're at is literally the goal. Every level you're at should be able to be at peace, because the only way you can enjoy it. If I give you a level and you're constantly stressed, have anxiety, and aren't able to appreciate that level, what's the point of having that thing? That's something I realize now that didn't make sense to me before. I just thought, oh yeah, let's just get that thing. let's just get that next level and I'll figure it out after. Because you see on social media all these people that say, oh, I went from this to this in a year. But what we don't understand is there's growth there. Or maybe there's not growth. Maybe that person, you see them grow 1 year and the next year they just fall, because there's an equilibrium that has to be maintained between your self-development and how much your level of success is. So it has to be two things. I'm holding the phone, but essentially think of this 2 bars. Both have to go up and be at the same place, or else you simply crash. There's simply pressure that you can't take at a certain level, and it's about growing yourself internally, and that is where everything is maintained. That's where the pressure is maintained of something external. It's internal. So like I said, there's people that grow so fast, and you see this all the time with celebrities, super young celebrities. The first one that comes to mind is Britney Spears. When she was 16, started getting success, and then a few years later she crashed because she grew so fast externally, but internally she couldn't handle that pressure. And that's normal. Like, you thinking you can handle something more than yourself is your ego. It's your ego telling you to go after something because it feels good. But what you don't know is, it doesn't show you is the pressure behind that thing. It just shows you how you'll feel having a Lamborghini or whatever it is externally you want, a mansion. But then you get, think of a mansion payment compared to what you're paying now for rent, which is around $2,000, $3,000, whatever you're paying. Mansions, payments. My mentor has a mansion. He pays $50,000 a month. Imagine your payment going up that much in a year's time or 2 years' time. You wouldn't be able to, the pressure would be unsurmountable. You can't do it. And that's the reason why the saying God's timing is perfect is the saying to go with, or to believe in, because it's absolutely true. He knows when you can handle the pressure of something you want. Not your ego that tells you to go something for a feeling, because it wants you to just chase some feeling that it lies to you that's there. Oh yeah, once you get that, you can feel that way. Sure, you can feel that way one day when you get it, but then the rest of the days, you're not feeling that because you can't make the payments. You're struggling to make the payments. You're worried, if you're gonna crash it, how you look in front of other people with it, because it's the only reason you want something external like that is because you want the look or the feeling you're gonna get from other people looking at you, and it's all ego want to feel something and using you. So it's the devil literally using you through your ego to get something that it wants, as opposed to God that's trying to help you operate in peace by removing the things that you don't need, being at peace. And then he adds, the devil tells you you're always in lack and go for this, go for that. You need this, you need that. Society, does that as well. It's all programmed to make you operate in lack, and you're just a hamster in a wheel, chasing year after year, a feeling that isn't even real. And you get there and you realize, okay, the feeling is cool, but now the reality of it is there's crazy pressure here, and most people can't handle it, and then they have their ego at play trying to make them stay at that level. So it's literally God and the devil at play always. And when you're living for a feeling, you're living for the devil, and when you're living for peace, you're living for God. So when you're at peace, you don't need anything. That's God, showing you that you're at the perfect place right now where you need to be. When you're at stressed, have anxiety, have all these things you're trying to do, and I need more productivity, more efficiency, trying to find all these things to add to your life, to get some feeling from a goal, playing with you. The devil literally using you. You're living for the devil, because like I said, peace and not desiring is the ultimate goal. I've had days like that, and I'm telling you, it's much better than the highs you get from this feeling that the devil promises you, but then the lows that come afterwards because of the reality of that situation and where you're left at now of, can you handle that reality, that sustained pressure, or were you just simply chasing for this dopamine hit? So that is something that I reflect on crazy now, and something that's changed my perspective entirely, because the way to think about it is, if you're a father right now, your parents, You know, they know where you're at in a situation. They can see, let's say when you're a little kid, what you can handle. They're not going to give you something because you simply want it. They will wait out of love before they give you something. Some parents don't, and you know, they give their kids a bunch of money when they're very young, and that basically destroys them because they can't handle that pressure of having all that money. But there's some parents, you know, the good ones that wait out of patience to give you something when you're at that level. That is what God is doing. God is the Father that you don't see, that is trying to give you gifts based on where he sees you're at, because you can't see things. He sees the true intentions of your heart, where you're at, what you can sustain, and if you can sustain that reality. But you don't see that because you're fucking literally blinded by your ego and think, I need to have this now so I can prove this to someone or that to somebody. When you live at that place of, you know, how can my reality show people something, which is where I was at for a long time, you work for the devil and you start to go back on values that you were brought up with. You get more and more selfish. You do things more and more for you. And once you realize that years go by, and let's say you get some of these things, but the person you become is almost detestable in a way because you're just living for ego and yourself, you start to look back and realize, what is the point of this? If this has changed the way I operate, which is the most important thing, and who I become, then this is not really like all worth it. You know, being able to attain things in peace, and not have this immense pressure that you're trying to sustain for your ego is the ultimate place to be at. And only God can give you that when you give him trust. So that is what I want to share. Even sharing that right now just gives me crazy peace. Like being able to enjoy something so simple as walking with my vest, put up to 39 pounds, is just something that the devil can never give you. The devil just gives you stress, anxiety, you know, the next thing, the next high, and you realize you're a slave to the devil. That's what I realized. I was a slave to the devil and something that wasn't real, an illusion, and I thought I was winning externally by adding more things, but internally I just felt more and more like shit. You know, I was never at peace. I felt more shallow, started going to dark places, needed more external things, started adding more women, more partying, more drugs, and the hits got higher, but the lows got lower. And that is when I finally saw the devil and how he was using me, and I said, this is not it. So that is why I can dedicate myself to, you know, these habits that bring me closer to God and listening to him, as opposed to thinking and you honestly trying to think your way through life, and you thinking that is the only way to move forward or excel, is by thinking everything and you having your own plan and your own timing. There's God's plan and there's your plan. So you can follow his plan because he sees all the things you don't see, or you can try and live life your own way with all the stress, anxiety, and living for ego. But like I said, it's God or the devil always, and God is peace, and he's trying to give you that by removing and letting him lead the way. Or it's the devil that is constantly telling you you're missing something. Go for this goal, go for that goal, giving you stress, anxiety, pressure that you can't handle, and then eventually, you know, destroying your peace and anything along the way. So understand there's someone above you that is looking out for you, that wants the best for you and wants peace for you. And there's one below that right now is guiding your life because he's living through your ego and telling you to chase this, chase that. You know, you're not enough yet. You know, you haven't achieved this yet. And you're comparing. Comparison is the biggest one. Comparison is the biggest thing that the devil uses to literally fuck you. There's no other way to say it. He literally, any progress you're making, the devil makes you, it's like you're going straight, he just makes you turn your head. It's like him just going like this and just turning your head. Boom, comparing. Other way, comparing. And you're never able to find peace. And it's crazy because you realize that in the short term, but the long term, you keep doing it. And something I fall prey to, and it's one of his main tools. And it just, like, there's never a time where you could compare and be at peace. no matter who you're comparing yourself to. It could be yourself in the past, but when you're in the present moment, you don't have to compare. When you're being guided, when you're connected to something bigger than yourself, you don't compare. You're at peace. You're not desiring. You're just taking the actions and the steps that God is putting through your thoughts, not making you think about it, because that would be the devil trying to keep you drifting. But like I said, God has all the steps planned out for you, but your ego is so loud and blinding you so much because it wants something external, that things will give you a feeling that you can't listen, and you block it out until years go by and you maybe get that thing or you don't get that thing. But the best thing, even though you don't see it now, is you getting that thing and it destroying you in terms of how you feel internally, so you can go to God and he can guide you. So that is what he sometimes wants to happen. I didn't see that when the moment I was chasing women, dedicating, literally not missing a weekend, going out for 4 years, chasing women, all these experiences with women, because I was broken from one person, hadn't forgiven that person, and was letting the devil work through me, through ego, attaining all these things, putting people to the side, pushing people to the side, because I wanted these desires, these selfish desires. And I got all of them. I got everything, but what I lost was peace. And I just found more lack. I found darkness. So I got the external, but I found darkness. And then I found the devil one day in a club in Argentina. I made a video about this. It's crazy. And then from then on, I just said, fuck this. This is not for me. Some people can do that and avoid it, but I knew something God called me that day. And I believe that now, because he uses regret in your conscience. There's some people that can stay in that lifestyle forever and they're not chosen for something greater. And that's just the way it is. God has, everything figured out for you. And, he helps you find him through your conscience, through regret, through shame, through guilt, through things you shouldn't be doing. That's the way to get closer to him. If you do something and you regret it, that is the thing you shouldn't be doing. But there's people that just regret something, do it the next weekend, then do it the next, do it a little bit less, but then they still do it. Drinking, drugs, partying, staying up late, hurting their body with bad food, all these substances. They regret the next day, they wake up like shit, but you know what? It was kind of fun. I got a little bit of a high. Let me just, I'll rest, but in 2 weeks I'll go again. And that's a life. And that would have been my life as well, until I decided to listen, or he showed me what my life would be like if I kept going down this route of just avoiding your conscience, was just him trying to speak to you, and just walking and living in this frequency of shame and guilt because you're not doing the things you're supposed to be doing. So stop doing the things you regret, even if it's a little bit. If you drink and you feel bad after, or you have a body you detest, you can't look yourself in the mirror, that's shame. That's literally shame. God trying to scream at you in the mirror, or slap you a little bit in the face and be like, hey man, or girl watching, wake the fuck up. You have a body that I gave you and you're not taking care of it. And here you are just avoiding it, eating more food, not taking care of it, and more shame builds up. And that's a frequency you live in. There's people that live in that frequency, and shame, guilt, those are the lowest ones. And they start to project that onto other people. And that's where you become angry as a person, miserable as a person, because you're not doing the right things, but day after day, week after week, you keep doing the things because you don't know that there's another way out. You still live for the ego and something that's not real, an illusion. But God is trying to use your conscience, which is him authentically speaking to you, but you keep avoiding it because you live for ego and you live for society and how society sees you. And that's all the devil. It's easy to live for the devil because it's everywhere, but it's harder to live for God because it's sacrificing. God is literally sacrificing the things of this world, the way you look to other people, the things that the society tells you should be adding at a certain age, because that's what success is. It's avoiding all that and walking the opposite way, walking against the tide. And that's why the path is hard, and not many people go on the path, and not many people are chosen. But when faith comes into the picture and you are able to put your faith in something that you don't see, it becomes much easier. The vices that I used to have before, they're no longer a thought in my mind, because I know God has something bigger for me, and I have faith in that. I don't see it per se. It's not like, oh, I see my next 5 years of my life planned out. No, I see the next step, the next step, the next step. And if it hurts and if I suffer in the short term, I don't care, man. I really don't care. I care more about the peace I'm going to get from that, and not this fake illusion that the ego sells you, this high for you to work for him. This short-term living contract that he gives you, that, yeah, I'll give you everything in the short term, but the long term, it's all blank. It's short term this, long term blank. You don't know what happens. But I have been there, know what happens, and yeah, it's the devil. It's the devil. He'll present himself to you maybe like he did to me, and it's not him, not an image of him, it's the energy. It's a moment I had where I said, this is my life, and it was like me going on a roller coaster and him putting me here, and there's no tracks down. That's literally the moment, or how it felt energetically wise. And I just saw it, I was like, yeah, this is not it. This is not where I want to be. And I had everything external, had the lifestyle that I was looking for at that moment, minus the drugs, more the women I was beside, the experiences I was having. And you could say, yeah, I had it all that I was working for years. But yeah, the devil just basically showed me, well, God showed me through that night that this is not where I'm supposed to be. And it's crazy because I could have very easily stayed there, kept avoiding it like I was doing for many years, but something in that moment told me this is not it. And I had a moment of shame beforehand, a crazy regret. Like, I'm not sure if I've ever had a point where I've always almost wanted to walk away from myself, of how much shame and regret I had. And that was me leaving a club at 7 a.m. It was 2 years ago. Yeah, literally a little over 2 years ago. And just thinking, this is shit. Fuck this. Like, and I was with, an ex-girlfriend at the time, and society was telling me, oh yeah, this girl's super attractive, blah, blah, blah. But nothing external that the devil can give you beats the peace internally that God can give you. That's what I see now, and that's 100% true. Peace is worth much, much more. Peace is worth much more than anything the devil can give you for a feeling. That is what I see now, and that is what I'm gonna leave you guys with. So you can choose the devil, or you can choose God, and that's an everyday battle. Like I said, every battle is spiritual. So you can keep going down the road of chasing your ego for a feeling, avoiding the things that you should be actually taking care of, like your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit. You can keep putting that to the side for the devil and looking for short-term results to show the world that which doesn't care about what you've achieved externally. Or you can work for peace, suffer, sacrifice in the short term, listen to your conscience, stop doing things that you regret, and go down the path of those that are chosen to do something big, and go down that route. So it's about learning to suffer for the big things, or letting go, following the crowd, doing what everyone else does, and living for pleasure instead of purpose. And then you can see where your life goes in a year's time, 2 years time. Maybe you never see where your life goes. Maybe the devil just uses you the rest of your life, like a little toy, like a little puppet. Just, go here, go there. He has you in his pocket the rest of his life. Maybe that's the life you're destined for. Who knows? But that wasn't me, and that is why I can do the hard things that most people can't do. The hard habits, the things that keep the devil away from my mind in order for me to live in peace. And it looks weird to other people. It seems strange, but the peace that I have is something that they will never feel. And yeah, maybe I'm the crazy one externally, but internally, I'm definitely not. So anyways, hope you guys got the message. Stop living for the devil, start living for God. And yeah, enjoy your day.